Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Magikey Yugioh deck profile for post-Duelist Nexus. We have the new Magikey Deity Ishtartu finally in the TCG. This is a card that's been out, I believe, on Master Duel for quite a while now, but we finally got it in the actual TCG to use. A rank 8 Xyz monster that we can easily get out with some of the level 8 monsters. We can summon out in the deck, whether it be our Fusion or our Synchro monster, and then utilize those different monsters to then summon out our main go-to Xyz monster that you see here for more of our Magikey search and special summon plays. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For the Magikey monsters, there really aren't too many in the main deck. The main focus is the extra deck. So we have our 3 normal monsters, being our Kalkeeves, the Magikey Sky Blaster. This level 4 normal monster is utilized for the good majority of our plays. So we have plenty of ways to special summon and search this card out. In the deck, having some other different normal summon options also comes up. So for the last spot for a normal monster, you could just run a different attribute, level 4 normal monster. I'm running Megalo Smasher X, just for the additional attack power that this card provides, as well as being a different attribute than the Magikey Sky Blaster. For our tuner that we also run in the main deck, running 3 copies of Magnificent Magikey Maftiel. It cannot be used as material for a Synchro or Xyz summon, except for the Synchro or Xyz summon of a Magikey monster. If you control a Magikey monster, you can reveal this card in your hand, and you can normal summon 1 Magikey monster during your main phase of this turn, in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn, and when this card is normal summon, you can target 1 level 4 lower normal monster or level 4 lower Magikey monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense. So this allows you to then set up your Kalkeeves on the field to then use, whether it be for a synchro play or an overlay play with your Maftiel. For the ritual monsters that we also run, we're running the 3 copies of Magikey Mech Musket Beto Buster. With this card, you can ritual summon this card with Magikey Maftia. If this card is ritual summon, you can add 1 Magikey card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Magikey Mech Musket Beto Buster once per turn. Once per turn, when attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's monster, if this card has the same attribute as a normal monster or Magikey monster in your graveyard, you can place any number of cards from the hand on the bottom of the deck. And if you do, negate the effects of opponent's monsters until the end of this turn, then draw the same number of cards. So you just place back to then negate and then draw, so you really don't minus much with this level 4 ritual monster, which you use and summon out with your go-to spell card, being Magikey Maftia, to fusion summon your options with your plays using your ritual monsters as your material, or being able to ritual summon 1 Magikey monster, having both of those options available to you with this monster, and then also counting as another tuner. So if you don't have Maftiel, you can always use Beto's Buster to summon out your Magikey Fiend Transfer Line for the summon also. And I also run the 1 copy of Magikey Mechmortar Garrow Glasser. You can ritual summon this card with Magikey Maftia, and it gains 300 attack for each different attribute in your graveyard. You're going to use each of the following effects of Magikey Mechmortar Garrow Glasser once per turn. When your opponent activates an effect of a monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard, if there are at least 2 attributes of monsters were used for this card's ritual summon, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. And if this ritual summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Magikey monster from your deck to your hand. So you have search power, but also another reason why we utilize the Megalo Smasher X normal monster being a water attribute, while your Sky Blaster is a dark and Maftiel is a light, for those different attributes to be used with your earth attribute ritual monster. I also run a small incantation lineup in the form of 2 incantation candles, 2 Talismandra, and then the 1 copy of Bookstone and Pencil Plume, running all of these monsters just for the additional search for some of the actual other ritual spells and monsters that I run in the deck. We have Maftia, which is not a ritual spell in and of itself, but we do have some other ones to help with our ritual plays, but still, just the lineup of these monsters definitely does come in handy for searching out and giving us more of a bigger monster lineup to use for our Magikey monsters. Moving on now to the spells, I run 2 copies of of Magikey Mafia. You fusion summon one Magikey fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, or ritual summon one Magikey ritual monster from your hand by treating monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed its level. If you control a normal monster, you can also send one normal monster from your deck to the graveyard as material for the tribute. So with your level 8 Care Glasser, you can have the one Sky Blaster on the field and then send the Megalo Smasher from your deck to the graveyard as material for the tribute, whether it be for the fusion or the ritual play. Being a level 8 monster, then having both the needed materials and then having the 2 different attributes in your graveyard thanks to this card. Also running the 3 copies of Magikey World. When it's activated, you can add one Magikey monster from your deck to your hand. The first time each non-token normal monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect each turn, and it's not during your main phase, you can add one Magikey Mafia from your deck to your hand, then place one card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. You can only use each effect of Magikey World once per turn, and you can only activate one per turn, but it's a searcher for a monster, and then also being able to grab your ritual or fusion spell from your deck to your hand adds the potential search for easy access to the cards you need for your main go-to plays. Now, some of the cards I'm mixing around ratio-wise, I have 3 high ritual art and then the 1 advanced ritual art. You can always mix and match the numbers for this card in the deck, going 2 and 2, depending on what you want to use, and it's all down to preference of what you may open up as well. You have the high ritual art, being able to use and tribute normal monsters from your hand for this card for the ritual play, so then you can summon out the ritual monster from your deck. Advanced ritual art lets you send the normal monsters from your deck, so you can summon out the ritual monsters from your hand. It's vice versa depending on what you want to use. You can try a 2 and 2 ratio for these cards. It's really player preference at this point what you want to use, with our other searchers being 3 copies of Preparation of Rites for just the added search power for our main go-to ritual monster that we run in the deck, Betos Buster. You can't search out the other one, sadly, because it's a level 8 ritual. And then also the 3 copies of Unexpected Die, just to easily special summon out our normal monster of choice onto the field. This works well with Mafia also, since then we can have our normal monster and send the other one from the deck to the graveyard for our ritual play if we need it for the higher levels. And then also for the one-ofs for the spells, the 1 copy of Magikey Battle with a quick play spell, target 1 normal monster, 1 Magikey monster, or 1 Magikey Mafia in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and if you activate this card in response to your opponent's card or effect activation, normal monsters and Magikey monsters you control, except tokens, are unaffected by that opponent's card effect. So it's just more recycle power for this card, along with search power with the form of Reinforcements of the Army to add our Clav Keys to our hand once again, and also the 1 copy of Call by the Grave, just more graveyard shutdown for whatever hand traps our opponent may try to use. And then I also run 1 Magikey Duo and the 1 Magikey Locking, more of a quick play option for special summoning out our resources back onto the field, and then with our Magikey Duo either being able to fusion or ritual summon, and then using Magikey Locking to perform a Synchro or an Xyz summon using those monsters. They're one of texts that I run in the deck just as added backup if I were to summon them out during my opponent's turn, with the last of the traps being 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, just the only hand trap of choice. We run a pretty high spell count in the deck, so just having an added backup to be able to activate on my opponent's turn does come in handy. Moving on now to the extra deck, we'll go ahead and start off with the fusion monsters. We're running 2 copies of Magikey Beast on Sleelko Bolas. You need 1 Magikey monster and 1 normal monster except the token. If it's fusion summon, you can add 1 Magikey Mafia from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect of Magikey Beast once per turn, and once per turn you can target 1 attack position monster your opponent controls with the same attribute as a normal or Magikey monster in your graveyard. Change it to defense, and if you do, it loses 1,000 defense, and banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card. So it's just a better way to get over some of the more powerful monsters your opponent may have using this card, and then also being able to recycle back your ritual and fusion spell for you to reuse again. With the 1 copy also of Magikey Dragon on Drabeam, when this card is fusion summoned, your opponent cannot activate card effects. Once per turn, you can target 1 normal monster or Magikey monster in your graveyard, destroy all monsters your opponent control with that monster's attribute, and once per turn, for your opponent's monster with the same attribute as a monster in the graveyard is destroyed by battle or card effect. If this card was fusion summoned using 2 different attributes, you can draw 1 card. So destruction capabilities, and once again justification for the the different attributes we run, but you have the dark attribute with your clav keys being one of the more common ones to utilize, but also having the power to set up the different attributes depending on the other extra deck monsters we go into, like our new Magikey deity Ashtartu being a rank 8 monster. You need 2 level 8s, but you have that in the form of your Magikey dragon Andre Beam, or even our ritual monster being our Care Glacier. So you can overlay all these cards if you can summon them out onto the field successfully with your monsters. And then also with this card, once per turn, when you normal summon a monster or Magikey monster with destroy opponent's monster by battle, you can detach 1 card from this card and inflict damage to your opponent equal to that destroyed monster's original attack. So burn damage on top of all the other special summoning plays we can do in the deck as well. And being able to target one monster your opponent controls with the same attribute as a normal monster or Magikey monster you control or in your graveyard, and detach 1 from this card and banish that monster. So more banish power on top of all the other cards, more of a bigger boss monster to get out onto the field with your other cards. Also the 1 Magikey Spirit Vipartu, another water attribute to summon out. And when it succeeds summoned, you can detach 1 to add 1 level 4 or higher normal monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand for more recycle resource power. And also 1 Baguska, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Exciton Knight, and the 1 Zeus for the rest of the Xyz monsters. Just remember with Mafia, you are locked into Magikey plays, so you can't use this card to summon out these monsters, but we have plenty of other normal monster plays if need be to go into, or even our level 4 fusion or ritual monsters. For the synchros, I'm running 2 copies of Magikey Fiend Transferal Mind. You can make up to 2 attacks on monsters each battle phase. You can only use each of the following of this card's effect once per turn. And if you control this card that was synchro summoned using at least 2 attributes of monsters, you can set 1 Magikey spell or trap directly from your deck to the spell and trap card zone. So this is another reason why I only run the 1-ofs for Magikey locking in Magikey Duel. You really only need the 1-ofs because then you can just set them up with your synchro monster. And also the 1 copy of Dark the Dark Charmer, 1 Link Spider, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and the 1 IP Masquerena for some of the link options when we can go into them with the deck. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, it's all about the setup with your clav keys. But if we were to go for some of the bigger rank 8 Xyz plays, you have to go for more of a focus on getting out the level 8 monsters. So you could always start with the special summon of your level 8 ritual monster, being able to then go for that play. Let's say you have the setup in your hand from your deck, tributing monsters from your hand. So if you use your high ritual art, using the 2, if you have the 2 normal monsters in your hand for the play, so tributing your 2 monsters, whether you search them out, because like I said, you do have a good amount of search power in your hand to then summon out your Magikey Mech Mortar with this card. Also using each of the following effects: when your opponent activates a card or effect with the same attribute or at least 2 monsters for the ritual summon, you can negate the activation, but you have your 1 level 8 monster onto the field. So then you just have to summon out the additional fusion play or synchro play, which you can use if you go for the special summon of your Care Glacier from your deck. You can then use your Mafteal to summon out your Skyblaster from the graveyard, going for the level 8 synchro monster, and then being able to overlay the 2 into your new Magikey Xyz monster. And with that, you're also setting up Earth and Fire attributes with the detached having the different ones, including light and dark, in your graveyard for you to use also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. It's really awesome support in the form of 1 card, just adding to the different extra deck monsters we can make with the Magikey deck, and I hope you all enjoyed as well. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.